Sometimes I have the ability to see things before it actually happens. And I foresaw Rampage shutting down and being canceled for quite a while now. I saw the writing on the wall over a year ago at Rampage because honestly, it's pointless wrestling. An hour of pointless wrestling matches and directionless characters. No one really had much of a story on Rampage. Okay, it was just, spot fest matches left and right. But I was never really interested in Rampage only when CM Punk first, made his debut, and that was probably one of the best things that happened on Rampage and a couple other things, but Rampage really started to lose steam once Collision came on board on Saturday nights. And I said to myself, okay, you brought on Collision, that could easily replace Rampage. So why not get rid of Rampage since that show is meaningless and no one really is important? I mean, you only book like the undercard acts and the guys and gals that you don't really use on Dynamite or Collision, you'll book them for Rampage. And that was pretty much what was happening for the past couple years. Now, with the last episode of Rampage, you had this big brawl out with the Death Riders and the whole AEW locker room. The women's division was even out there too. It was confusing a little bit. I just was not a fan of that whole brawl out. I thought the ending was a nice touch with John Moxley breaking into um, the box truck, pretty much hacking the show and saying Rampage is canceled. I thought that was a nice touch, a good way to close out Rampage for good. So it brings me to my main point: is Tony Khan should really consider a draft between Dynamite and Collision. You have the roster to do it. The roster is overloaded, so why not just divide the roster? Okay, you have enough titles to do a draft. Okay, and then this is something that Tony Khan should definitely consider, or he should definitely do it. Now that you only have two shows, so it's evident that Collision will get more attention. More attention will be geared toward Dynamite as well, because you got Rampage out the way. And I think you should have the TNT Championship be a secondary world title, right? And I will put the TNT Championship on Collision, right? Exclusively to Collision. I would also have the AEW International title on Collision as well, along with the AEW Women's Championship on Collision. And then you could probably add in the AEW tag team titles. So right there, that's four titles. You have the world title, mid card title, women's belt, and the tag belts for Collision. Now for Dynamite, you would have the AEW World Championship, of course, the TBS Women's Champion on Dynamite. Now, of course, you got Mercedes Moné as your champion, so obviously she's going to be on Dynamite because she's the biggest star for that women's division. And then I would also have the AEW Continental Championship, which is the mid-card belt on Dynamite. And the Trios Champions will also be on Dynamite because the Death Riders are holding those belts. So, Death Riders, they're always going to be on Dynamite every Wednesday. That'll be pretty much their show. And obviously, you got the Ring of Honor titles, but they don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Ring of Honor is a nothing entity these days. So it's like, yeah, those don't really matter. No one's really paying attention to ROH these days. So it kind of evens things out with Collision and Dynamite. If Tony Khan is to do a draft, you have 4 belts, okay, for each show. Okay, with the trios, that's not the tag team titles, but it's a 6-man trios matchup, right? So if you want to catch a trios match, you got to watch Dynamite. Okay, if you want to catch the tag team division do their thing, you have to watch Collision. If you want to watch or see John Moxley, you have to watch Dynamite. If you want to see an Adam Cole, you have to watch Collision. Okay? It keeps everyone fresh and no one is getting overexposed. That's why drafts are really good. The brand split, I should say, are always important because it can protect the entire roster from being overexposed. And you're given, you know, the allocated time to the more important wrestlers. Okay? And so it's not where everyone is fighting for TV time because now you have the rosters divided. Dynamite is 2 hours, Collision is also 2 hours. So that's enough time to get everyone involved on each show every Wednesday and Saturday. Now, I think Collision going forward should be on a Friday night, not a Saturday night. Saturday night is for those pay-per-views. Okay? So it works out well for the entire roster because on Dynamite, everyone will get the attention and the TV time that they deserve. Same thing with Collision. Okay, you have you have your stories on Collision that you can focus on, and you got your stories on Dynamite that you can focus on as well with certain talent. But the thing is, Tony Khan needs to have someone booking Collision. He's trying to book both shows on his own. It's just not going to work. You're just doing exhibition matches left and right, left and right. There's no story, no direction. So it just leaves everyone confused as to what's actually happening on the show. This is why you need more bookers. You need more people to write each show and each storyline, right? He can't do it all by himself. And that's the problem. So, Tony Khan, if you happen to be watching this video, if you happen to see this video, which I strongly doubt, you should definitely do a brand split between Dynamite and Collision.